Welcome to another edition of Baseball and Beyond, and we go beyond again today. I don't know if our next guest is a big baseball fan, but I know he's a funny guy. I know he's a metal fan, so we're going to talk music. It's Jim Florentine, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Jim.
I'm a huge baseball fan.
Let's see, you're born up north, right? Northeast?
Yeah.
So you're not a Red Sox fan, are you?
No, I like the San Francisco Giants of baseball.
That's not Northeast, but that's good. I'll take the Giants are okay with me, I guess. They've beaten the Cardinals a few times to eliminate from.
I know they had some good series together.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm not a big fan.
One of my favorite players. I don't know if he's still welcome in St. Louis. Is Jack Clark that was on the Giants too.
Oh yeah. Now see that he's a guest of the show here, and what I like about him, yes, he's welcome in St. Louis. By the way, his 3 years were unbelievable, but. He just literally will rip anything, you know. He'll rip Albert Pujols and doesn't care what he says. He's gotten himself in trouble, but I like that, and I bet you do too.
No, well, you know, when Pujols left, then it was okay to go after him. So I think, you know, if he was still there and he signed with the Cardinals and was a lifetime Cardinal, then it would have been a problem. That's right. It was after he left that Jack was saying stuff about it. I love Jack Clark. He had the best swing ever.
I created like a YouTube clip of his 1987 home runs. No one hit the ball. I still don't think I remember seeing a guy hit the ball harder. You know, I mean, McGuire hit him farther and Bonds, but man, he had that bat waggle. And I did that as a kid, just in wiffle ball. I would just sit there and try to waggle.
It looked like he was using a wiffle ball bat too.
It was awesome. Well, this is going to be great. We can just talk about Jack Clark for a half hour myself. But I also was looking, I did not know, we share the same birthday, so this is great. August 18th, we're Leos.
Yeah.
You're a little older than me.
My son's born on the same day, too.
Well, how about that? How old is he?
Yeah. 7.
Nice. Well, congrats on that. August 18th, a great date. So you are in town. You'll be in St. Louis for some comedy at the Funny Bone. Everyone knows the Funny Bone. At Westport Plaza. So you got 3 nights there. Are you excited about coming to St. Louis, or are you dreading it? Most people dread it. I dread it.
I always love coming to St. Louis. It's a great comedy town. It's just a great town. I love the barbecue there and just the people, and the crowds are great. You know, they don't come in with an agenda, just blue collar, drink some beer, tell me a few dirty jokes. I love that.
Okay, because some people come in and then they want to rip the Actually, most comedians, I had a few comedians now through this podcast, and they all love St. Louis. They all say the same thing, and they always ask, is the Funny Bone in Illinois still open? And I'm like, no, it's not there anymore, but the Funny Bone, man, that thing has been at the Westport Playhouse probably for 30 years. How often do you come in?
I usually about once a year. I come in, you know, and I look forward to it. It's good. They, they always pack them in there, and it's in a good location and all that stuff. So I've been coming for probably about 13, 14 years now.
Nice. Yeah, so we're gonna run through your career. You got a book, a podcast. You're coming here, but I guess most people may remember you from Crankyankers and terrorizing telemarketers. So I get mad because, man, I did this when I was 11 years old. I recorded the calls. I thought they were funny. Like I did prank calls. You just thought about putting them along with the Jerky Boys on a CD and making a little money off it. I wish I would have done that, but. That was a great idea, and people I still do special ed. Like, I literally just do it in my daily, hey, that's great, and I still do it all the time. I mean, is that cool that people know that they still do that 20 years later?
Not so much, because people forget the show, and this new generation never heard of Crankyankers, so you'll still get it from time to time, but back in the day when that show was on, that's all people did. It was insane how big that show got that quick.
And then what made you want to do that? I mean, and it's with puppets too. It was on Comedy Central, then moved to MTV too.
Because they offered it to me. You know, like, hey, you want to be on a TV show where you make prank phone calls and you're going to get paid really well, and they're going to fly you to Las Vegas in first class, you're going to stay in a 5-star hotel? Nah, I don't want to do that.
I think
I put a CD out where I was messing with telemarketers, and they heard it and they hired me to do the show because they like my prank calls. And that was amazing doing it. Like, who would have thought as a kid, like you said, making prank calls, I could have, been on a TV show doing it and making a good living.
That's a great idea, though, and you could still do it today. You could terrorize telemarketers. So the whole bit was you get a call from a telemarketer, and by the end they'd be like, you know what, we're just gonna thank you. We're not gonna sell you anything. Take care. It's a great idea.
Yeah, it got to the point they wanted to get off the phone. That was my own goal. Like, I want them to feel uncomfortable, like, like we do on the other end, where they actually want to go.
And that is kind of, I mean, that seems like that's kind of your comedy. I obviously kind of first heard of you on Stern, and I remember the big story that you did a few things. I think you created Upper Deckers, and people can look that up if they want something with a toilet. But I think the one that I liked the best was when you, and I still think about doing this every time I go to a restaurant, you would just have them keep putting that pepper grinder on your salad, and you weren't going to eat the salad. You just said, no, I'm not done. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I find funny. And you wouldn't really do that on TV. You just find that funny, right? You like to just terrorize people.
Yeah, I was always just doing it this time. That always annoyed me when the pepper guy came around. It's like, why does he have to put it on? How come there's not a salt guy? Why just pepper? So, I would just make the guy keep putting pepper on, constantly until I ran out, no matter how long it lasted. And I want to put out a couple of DVDs, like hidden camera stuff, where we did that stuff on there. But I still do it to this day.
Yeah, and I always think every time the pepper person comes over, I think one time I'm going to, in tribute to you, I'm just going to I'm going to screw up my salad and make these people think I'm crazy. But,
well, the thing with that is that you're probably not going to eat it afterwards because it's going to be so spicy, it's going to ruin your meal. So sometimes when a guy comes around, I'm out with friends, they go, you want some pepper? And they all look at me like, are you going to do it? I said, nah. And then I just go, no, I'm good. And I go, I want to actually eat. I'm hungry, so I don't want to ruin my meal.
Tell me other things that you may have done like that. That's good stuff. And like I said, I think you kind of created the Upper Decker, and it's basically putting your poop in the wrong side of the toilet, basically up top instead of the bottom.
Well, I didn't create that. That's just growing up in New Jersey.
You should
take a bunch of slobs. I don't know who came up with that, but we used to do it as kids. Take Upper Deckers.
Take credit for it. I would.
I'd like to take credit for it. I always wanted to invent something.
Your book is kind of the same thing. You're generally kind of angry. You kind of have that where you want to kind of like I said, the terrorizing telemarketers. And your book, I kind of read a little bit of it the other night, and it's just kind of going off on people on Facebook. And tell me a little bit about the book. It just came out about a month ago.
Yeah, it's basically about about social media. A lot of that, people either bragging, looking for attention or sympathy. That's where most of the posts are. So I actually put actual people's social media posts in the book, and I just break them down into what they're really trying to achieve with their posts. Like the woman that just writes for sympathy, I'm on my way to the hospital, and that's it. She doesn't explain why. And then you got 75 people. Are you okay? Oh, I wish if I lived in St. Louis, I'd be there for you. Please keep us posted. Thoughts and prayers. And then after like an hour and 35 comments, she just writes, it was just a sore throat. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, she just wanted the attention. She probably didn't even go to the hospital, most likely. But she just, she's trying to compete with everybody else that's gotten, a bunch of, comments on their Facebook page. It's sick. It really is.
Me and my brother talk about this a lot. I unfortunately have some people I follow that do that, and I do laugh because it's exactly like you said. I don't think they had an outlet as a child, and then now they know that people have to look at this. There's no way. I mean, you could block people, I guess, but yeah,
it's almost like they're resorting to be back in high school, because they're all competing with each other. That's what you did in high school when you wanted friends. You were awkward. You're socially awkward. You're trying to fit in. So you're liking what everybody else is liking because you just want friends. And now these people like middle age or in their, mid-30s or whatever, and they're still doing that. It's like high school stuff.
It's funny that that comment you made, though, because I'm just thinking of like the 5 people that I know that would post that, which is funny to me, and it makes me laugh. But there's one guy, my brother, I don't know if I should out him, but he doesn't care. He's got a guy... I got to defriend some of you guys. I just got too many friends, and I just don't have time for this. I don't have time for this, but I have to post that I don't have time for this. Those are the kind of people I love.
Oh yeah, or hey, I lost. I woke up this morning, I lost a Facebook friend. Did I make someone mad? I'm like, who is counting? Who is looking every day? Hey, why do I only have 397? I had 398 the night before. Like, how empty is your life that you work? Or, hey, I'm cleaning out my Facebook, friends. So if you get deleted, nothing personal. I'm just going to keep my close friends. Ooh, I hope I make your list.
Yeah, I keep my politics to myself, but after the last school shooting, and I don't want to get morbid here, but I'm actually at the point where I'm about ready to say maybe we need to limit the freedom of speech. If people are going to be saying they're going to go shoot up a school and then do it, I think we just arrest people that say that on Facebook, and I think some people just don't. I liked it better when the media was media, not social, and not everybody had a voice. I don't think everybody needs a voice.
No, it's true. I mean, it overflows into the athletes too and the actors. It's like, there used to be like three guys, like, Martin Sheen, Sean Penn, and Tim Robbins and Susan Sarandon that really like kept talking about politics and this and that. And you're like, all right, that's annoying, but whatever. And now it's everybody. Everybody, puts their 2 cents in. It's like, I don't care. And I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. If you're for Trump, I'm still going to hang out with you if you're my friend. You know what I mean? These people on Facebook. If you're a Trump supporter, just delete me as a friend. I don't want to talk to you. It's like, okay, or you like Hillary? I'm done with you. It's like, who cares?
It's a weird time, and I think my problem is that everyone has a voice, and everyone doesn't need a voice. So, I think there's
no, it's true. You're right. Everyone doesn't.
What was I?
And look, you see what happened with the NFL when they try to mix politics in with football. How the ratings are down, people aren't going to the games and all that other stuff. It's like, sometimes you just want some entertainment. That stuff's all over everywhere you go. You walk into any bar or restaurant, there's 7 TVs on with CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, all that just constantly bombarding you. You go on Twitter, you go on Facebook. It's all over the place. People just want a break.
Yeah, I don't watch the cable news channels. The one show
I don't either. I don't watch. I'm like, for what? So,
get
you
angry?
can't find a middle ground on any of them.
Yeah, get angry.
CNN used to be the place where, okay, if you were a liberal, you went to MSNBC. If you were a conservative, you went to Fox. CNN was the middle ground. Well, CNN's not like that anymore, so you don't even know where to go.
This is the one stupid social thing that's happened lately that I just think is so dumb. So, Katy Perry's on American Idol. I don't know if you've seen this, but she's literally coming on to guys that she thinks are cute. She asked one guy to kiss him. And now there's outrage from the other side saying, oh, you see, if this was a guy doing this. And my thing is there's just outrage back and forth. It's so stupid. Let Katy Perry do what she wants. I don't care. But once you start doing the Oscars and have 4 hours of, we can't have, women have to be equal. Well, then let's be equal. I don't get it.
No, you're right. But, when the left starts all that stuff with the PT and everything has to be this and you better, the women better have this and whatever. So then when the other side does it, like conservatives are going to go, hey, or males are going to go, hey, if that was a guy doing that, if he forced a kiss on a girl, that would be a big problem. So if they're going to start it, then, the other side's eventually going to go, okay, then you can't be a hypocrite here. We're going to call you out too.
Yeah, it sucks. I hate it.
It's like when Kathy Griffin had, did the President Trump who's holding the bloody head up. And it's like she didn't think anything was going to happen because the media is mostly liberal and they're going to let her slide. And then when they started calling her out, hey, wait a minute, CNN, you're okay with this? This is the president and he's got a kid. And all of a sudden she got lost all of her gigs. She's like, wait, what happened? I thought I was allowed to do that. It's like, no, because you guys always push the other way. So you're going to get it when it comes back to your side, which is like American Idol. Who cares if she's hitting on guys? You know what I mean? But, yeah, of course, everyone's going to go, look what she's doing.
But, yeah, and I think it's the one side that's the Me Too side is the one going, oh, come on, it's not a big deal. I'm like, no, wait a minute. You can't have both sides here. It's either one or the other.
Absolutely. They would be doing that in a second. That's why there's a whole gray area with that. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of actresses that aren't saying anything about Harvey Weinstein that really benefited from hanging out with him and doing whatever because they knew what they were getting themselves into and they got roles and they got Academy Awards and moved, and they live in a mansion now. And they're like, okay, well, whatever. You know what I mean? So, there's two ways. Some, yes, he was definitely creepy with, but there were others he wasn't, and the other women were okay with it.
Yeah, I didn't plan to get into that line of questioning, but I felt like we're kindred spirits with this August 18th birthday, and it sounds like
if Harvey Weinstein cornered me in a room and did that and said, I'll give you a role in Pulp Fiction, I would have locked the door. I said, I'm not going anywhere.
And you're going to pay me too? Great.
Exactly. I'm going to be in Pulp Fiction? Please.
Funny Bone, like I said, this weekend. And so what is your stand-up comedy like now? I know you were doing a one-man show there for a little bit. Are you You just kind of picking on scabs here in America? What are your topics? I don't want you to give away jokes, obviously, but what are you going to be?
No, I just stuff that's personal to me. What's going on in my life, I pretty much talk about. I don't really do observational humor, you know what I mean? I try to make it specific towards me. So, it all depends what's going on, but no politics. I don't talk about politics.
You do any airline material? Peanuts, like the Peanuts?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't, I usually go on stage last, especially if I'm on the road, so I can't go up there. Okay, the first four guys, they're Trump jokes. Well, here's my version.
Yeah, well, and that's my other. All right, you've done it again. Like, what happened to the late night shows just writing jokes, and now it's every one of them has their monologues Trump, 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 and I don't care either way. I just would like to laugh. But let's get creative, right? I mean, there's nothing. It doesn't seem like there's much creative stuff going on comedically these days, in my opinion.
It's lazy. I wish I was a writer for one of those late night shows. I'd only have to work 20 minutes a day. I could come up with 4 Trump is dumb, Trump is stupid, Trump is crazy jokes in 20 minutes and go back to bed. What you gotta, as a comic, you gotta know, at a point, if your plumber is on Facebook making Trump jokes, then you gotta move on from that. That's when all right, everyone's doing them. As a comic or a talk show host, you gotta realize, okay, then I can't do that anymore because everybody's doing it. It's almost like that old joke with a cop. Hey, cop, cops eat donuts. They weren't Dunkin' Donuts. What a shock. The cop car's in front of the donut shop. Any comic knew, all right, don't do that joke. Letterman was not doing, once he realized everyone was doing that joke, a 7-year-old would make, oh, look, the cops, they like donuts. Letterman knew, I got to move on. But all these guys, you don't even know. There could be a Trump one-liner out there. You're like, okay, which one of the 8 guys at late night did this? Because it could have been any of them. They're so interchangeable.
Yeah, could have been my Aunt Betty. At 60 years old.
Yeah, could have been your Aunt Betty in Montana doing the same joke. It's an easy punchline. It's basically like the old Polish joke was, if someone goes, a Polish guy walks in a bar, he was going to do something stupid at the end. It's like, okay, so what's the punchline? And that's what the same thing with Trump. So there's no one's taking a unique angle on it at all. I want to see the guy that goes on the Academy Awards that goes, hey, let's give Trump a chance. I think he's doing a good job. Here are a couple of things that I think he did good. That's a guy who's got some balls.
I don't think that's going to happen. But yes, you're right.
I know. For some reason, it's funny how because they're playing to their own audience. Of course they're going to be anti-Trump in that audience. That's like me doing a bachelor party, and I'm just going to do all anti-women, misogynist, and dirty jokes. I'm playing to my audience, a bunch of guys in a basement that hired me to do comedy, which I've done before. I'm going to know my audience there. I'm not going to talk about, whatever social issues when you're waiting for the stripper to come on after me.
Hey guys, before we get the strippers out here, let's talk about the budget. I can see that.
Exactly. What about this? I just Republican tax cuts. I don't understand. You know what I mean? I know I'm not going to do that material in that guy's basement.
That's pretty funny. So yeah, I heard you first on Howard Stern, and I was just curious, what that meant to your career to get on there, because it sounded like you started touring with Artie, and then things kind of really happened for you. What was it like, kind of getting that push from him? And it seemed like it was a big push, right? Am I right about that?
Oh yeah, I mean doing Howard Stern back in the early 2000s, that was like doing the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. If he said you were funny, then everyone that listened thought you were funny. And he gave them a massive exposure, and you're basically selling out the next day once you went on that show, just like the old Tonight Show. So I was lucky that he took a liking to me back at that time. It was amazing.
And then you decide to date Robin. I mean, this was so exciting for the fans to watch this happen. She wouldn't talk about it, you wouldn't either, but that had to be pretty ballsy. I mean, you were coming off a relationship that ended very, very badly, obviously, with, and I don't want to bring it up, but you talk about it a lot. You had a girlfriend who committed suicide, but so I think about a year later, you asked Robin out. Do you have any fun Robin stories?
No, it was good, at that time. It was 11 years ago now.
Yeah.
Which seems like, but no, it was fun. I mean, I was a big fan of the show, and, I asked her out, and we dated for a little while. It didn't work out, but no, I mean, she was cool. Look, I always thought about this. I said, she hangs with those boys in that boys club every day. Howard and Gary and all those guys, and Fred, and when Jackie was there and Artie and all that stuff. So she can hang with the boys. So she's like almost like one of the boys, which was great.
I feel like it doesn't seem like that's for how she'd be off the show, though. I feel like she'd be more into champagne and caviar.
What's that?
I felt like on the show she played that sort of a character, but off the show I felt like she'd be more like champagne and caviar, not into upper deckers. Maybe she is. Who knows?
Well, yeah, she probably not. No, not really. No, she was pretty much down to earth. I mean, we just hung. I took her to see Van Halen, I remember, and like Stone Temple Pilots. Had a good time and stuff like that. So, no, I mean, she liked, nicer stuff, whatever. But, no, she was totally cool with that.
How's your relationship with Howard these days? You still kind of get on there?
Yeah, good. I mean, I just did the wrap-up show a few weeks ago, promote my book and everything. And, no, it's, I still see those guys. I work up at Sirius, too, and I see them around. I'm friends with all those guys at the show. So it's all good.
Yeah, and Artie Lange, you toured with him. I don't know if you talked to him a lot. I know a lot of fans. It's really weird. I actually just talked to Stuttering John, and then friends of mine are like, "Oh, because I don't listen to Howard as much as I used to." I felt like the day Artie left, it was like, "Oh man, that's kind of the end of the show to me," and I haven't listened. But with Stuttering John, it really felt like an end of an era because then they bring in Richard and Sal, and it was just different. But a lot of my friends are like, "Oh no, you got to go back and listen." And I used to love Artie too, but how are you talking to Artie at all, and how's he doing? I
see him once in a while. He's doing a podcast now, and it's really funny. He's doing good. I see him out in the clubs in New York City. He's hanging in there.
You guys
yeah. So he's still around. He's kicking.
Any good road stories from those days when you guys toured? Because you guys got to. Well, I know he played Carnegie Hall, and you start finding these big areas, these big stages, these big rooms. You're not playing the Funny Bone anymore. Now you're playing, 3,000 seat. Do you have any fun? I just remember, already talking about having a sandwich thrown at him, or any fun memories that you have of those tours and those times.
Oh yeah, I mean those tours were amazing. I remember it's funny because this happened at the Funny Bone in St. Louis. So Artie was playing there before he got really big and started playing theaters, right? So Artie's doing 7 shows over the weekend. They're all selling out. So Artie's up on stage doing a show at the Funny Bone in St. Louis, and the waitress comes up to the table, and she has 10 shots of Jägermeister on a tray. And Artie just stops at 7. He goes, "Okay." He goes, "Which one's mine?" She goes, "They all are." And he goes, "What do you mean they all are?" She goes, "Someone bought them for you." And Artie goes, "I can't do all 10 of these shots." And the whole crowd just starts booing him and starts to chant for him to do it. So he drinks all 10 down, one at a time, 10 in a row. Right down, and then he finishes the set somehow. Now, I'm there 2 weeks later, and I'm drawing a lot of a Stern crowd, too, and they send 10 shots up to the stage. I go, "What is this?" "This is for you." I go, "I don't drink when I'm on stage." They go, "No, Artie," and they're like, Artie was here 2 weeks ago. We did all 10 shots. Come on, man." They started chanting, and I just said, "Hey, look, I'm telling you right now, I'm not Artie Lange." I go, "I'll do 1 shot, and that's it. I'll drink afterwards. I don't drink during my show." And they were booing and stuff. I go, "I don't give a shit." I was giving the crowd the finger. I go, "You can boo me all you want. I'll do 1 of these, and that's it. I'm not doing 10. So I wound up just doing the 1. But I had to shut that down. And then I told the waitress, I go, "Look, if that happens again, just put iced tea or something, fake, make that it's not a real shot, and I'll just do all 10, so I don't have to deal with that abuse."
Those are my people, Jim. Sorry.
That's what I love about St. Louis.
Oh, man. You'll be at the Funny Bone, like I said, here all weekend long. Obviously, tickets available. And I wanted to talk a little bit about rock and roll with you, and then I'll let you go, but I appreciate your time. So you do that metal show on VH1. You've done it for a while. Is that still on? I think it is, right?
No, we stopped in 2015. We had a 7-year run.
Maybe I'm checking out VH1 Classic, and it's still on. But I liked that because I have this argument all the time, or more of a thought in my head. When you get older, you just think your music was better when you were younger. But and I know you're more into the metal, but I was really thinking about today, like where is the young Pearl Jam, Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains? I mean, you're more into I think Pantera, kind of the heavier stuff. But I mean, you listen to or alternative radio, I guess. You're not hearing bands like that. It's more like Cage the Elephant and Black Keys. Am I wrong? Is it sad? Are we in a bad spot right now? Maybe we come out of it with something, or what do you think?
There's a band, Greta Van Fleet, out there that's kicking ass. Have you heard them?
No. Heavy?
Check them out. Greta Van Fleet. They sound like Zeppelin, 70s kind of sound. They're selling out everywhere, doing like 2,500 seats. They're kids. They're like 19 and 21-year-old kids.
I like that. All right, that's written down. Give me another one. Just kidding. So there is. You're telling me that their rock and roll is still will never die, is what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah, look, it's a tougher time to find it because there's not MTV and the radio really isn't playing breaking bands like they used to. So it's but you got to go like these festivals and stuff and kind of check it out there when all these bands are on. Like that band Hailstorm, even though they've been around for a while. I love those guys. I don't know if you heard them.
I don't think so. I usually, if they're on the radio, I hear it. If not, I need someone to introduce me to it. So that's good that we're having this conversation.
No, look, it's I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's not. People aren't as focused. There's too many distractions now with the phone. There's a lot of entertainment on that phone that people stare at all day. So they're not really into going down to a record store and buying something and reading the liner notes and all that stuff and be excited about new music. Most of the new generation is into pop music or country, and pop is just, throwaway garbage that, won't stand the test of time. So they don't care. They're not really passionate about music. It's new generation. So that's why there's not a lot of young kids are getting into it because they don't have the passion for the music either unless their parents get them into it.
Yeah, I think that's you have to, as a parent, it's like part of your duty. My dad used to be he had all the records from the 50s and 60s and 70s, and then he was a wedding DJ from 1975 to like 1992. So he had to buy every record. So he had everything from the Beatles to Beach Boys to, he had 10,000 records. And on a Sunday, he's like, sit down, we're going to play a record. And he'd play Iron Butterfly. He'd play the one side, and then he'd turn it over and it'd be In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, or he'd put on some Rare Earth. I don't think anybody knows who Rare Earth is anymore, but that was what I remember, and I'm like, all right, once I procreate here one day, there's going to be Record Sunday. It's important.
Yeah, no, I got my 7-year-old son, and I took him he's been to, I think, 15 concerts so far. I take him to metal shows all the time. He takes music lessons. Been taking him for 3 years, and he's totally into it. Judas Priest was playing last night in New Jersey, and it was a big snowstorm coming, so we didn't go. He was more upset than I was.
How cool has it been just to be able to meet all these guys? Is that kind of a career? I get a big kick out of meeting you guys and talking to you guys, and then it's kind of the baseball part of this podcast. I really do enjoy this. Is that the same for you? Kind of that it's not really about the comedians that you get to meet, but Judas Priest, Ian Halpert, and anybody from Anthrax, Scott Ian, those guys. Is it cool to know them by first name and that kind of thing?
Yeah, man, it was great meeting all those guys. I've been a fan since I was a little kid. My older brothers got me into it. So just to get on a show and interview these guys, it was a thing where I didn't even have to do any research. I'm like, oh, Angus Young's coming on the show. I don't even have to go to Wikipedia. I've been wanting to ask them these questions since I was 12.
That's crazy. That'd be so much fun. Well, I'm going to wrap up, but I did want to bring up, we were talking about rock and roll, we're talking about prank calls, so we'll bring it all together. You became friendly with Eminem. What was that like? He decided he wanted to be part of Crankyankers. Give me a little bit about that meeting and just we see his persona. I am assuming he's not like that all the time.
No, he was really cool. He was, him and his daughter used to watch Crankyankers all the time. That was like the TV show that they bonded over. And she's like, Dad, I want you to be on that show. And then he got in contact with Comedy Central, and he liked the characters that I did on the show. And he's like, I want to do calls with that guy. And, I'm a big metalhead, but I always liked Eminem. I always liked his music. I'm like, oh, man. And, go to Detroit to his studio and make prank phone calls was amazing. I was really nervous. I already met some, I was already on this Howard Stern show, so I met one of my idols and stuff. But I was like, man, I was nervous meeting Eminem. It's like, oh, if I piss this guy off, he's going to write a whole album about me.
That would have been cool, though.
I guess so, yeah, at the time, yeah. But they're like, who is this guy? But he was great, man. He was just nothing but nice, down to earth. And he was really good at prank calls. He had a bunch of prank calls on his earlier records, so.
So he's probably not, I would assume he's not the same guy that's yelling in his rap, right? He's probably I'm trying to think of the good cerebral.
One thing I always respected about Eminem, the guy stayed in Detroit to raise his kid, never went Hollywood, never started dating Jennifer Lopez when he had a movie coming out or an album coming out for publicity. Didn't do any of that. He stayed in his hometown and raised his kid. That was the most important thing for him.
That's a good point. Talented guy, as you are, as well as you.
Let's talk baseball.
Let's see. Giants. So you took Evan Longoria. You got McCutchen. So you guys this would be a good team in 2013, Jim.
Nah, I don't know. Yeah, I know. Exactly. They're doing it the complete opposite of what every other team is doing, trying to get younger, and they're taking all these veterans.
I would have taken Longoria. I feel like we have a weird issue at third base where we got like 3 guys that can play there, but not real well. I think Longoria's got 2 or 3 good years in him. I wanted him. I wanted the Cardinals.
He had his worst year last year, so I'm a little nervous about that.
The Panda's still there, right? You guys have...
Yeah, but he's got nothing left.
I think, I mean, I don't know. I guess you guys don't have a lot of pitching, but if you get Mad Bum, you get Cueto. Who else you got out there? Samardzija's not real good. You guys need some pitching, right?
Yeah, Samardzija's a 3-star. Gives up a lot. He can eat up innings, but he gives up a lot of runs. He's pretty good. I mean, he's a good 3-star. He's overpaid, but whatever. What are you going to do? They got a couple guys that they're trying to fit in at 4 and 5 because Matt Cain retired. So I don't know. They're not. They had their run, 3 World Series in 6 years. I think they just, they want to fill seats at that stadium. They don't want to rebuild. So that, they got a lot of money. They sell out pretty much every game. They sold out every game for like 8 years up till last year. Then they stopped selling out. So they want to get competitive, some stars on that field, a competitive team, but they're not going to go anywhere. They got to basically just break everything down. But look, they paid for it. Like, when Lincecum and Kane and, all those guys, and Buster Posey and all those guys that won, Hunter Pence, they gave these big contracts afterwards. Like, hey, you helped us win a World Series, so, we're going to stay loyal to you. Eventually that was going to catch up to you.
Yeah, the Cardinals do not do that. They get rid of you before the treading on the tire is off. Are you concerned at all? I feel like right now that, and I'll wrap up here, you wanted to talk baseball, right? I want to make sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm concerned that we're going to get to a point that the Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, Cubs, Astros, there's only going to be 5 or 6 teams. There was a point here about 3 or 4 years ago where you could, throw 20 teams in a hat and be like, if they get to the playoffs, man, right now there's only 7 teams that I think, the Cardinals are right on that bubble, but the Royals have no shot. The Rays have no shot. The Marlins have. It's not good when teams are tanking, but it's also not.
No, it's not. The Astros, though, you know what I mean? They came, they built from the farm up. Yeah, it's almost back to where it was before, where guys are just buying it. I'm not buying the Yankees because they got Stanton, because they got Stanton and Judge in that lineup. That's never worked anywhere where a team scored, 9 runs a game. That means they let up 14. So I'm not sold on that just because you get a bat in the lineup. The Cardinals always won with good pitching, and so did the Giants when it comes down to it. So
they feel like they got. CeCe's done, but Severino's pretty good. Sonny Gray, I'm hoping for big things on the fantasy team. I feel like they got, and then they got Chapman and Betances. Right now, it's like, man, you just got to build a bullpen and then you'll win. And that's why I like.
We'll see, because the Rockies, or was it the Rockies spent like $100 million on their bullpen for like 3 setup guys and a closer. Like they're going to try to do that, so we'll see if that formula works. I don't know.
It was funny though because they did all that before everyone decided they weren't going to spend money on free agents. So they could have probably got all those guys for like $10 million, but then they spent $100 million.
No, I know. They jumped right out there and just spent all this money. So I don't know. I wasn't. Last year obviously the ball was juiced. It was the most home runs ever. I don't know if that's good or bad for baseball. I don't think you can all of a sudden get new fans because there was a couple more homers a game. They do got to speed up the games, though, definitely. We'll see if it works, but it's not going to make a big difference. What they got to do ultimately is take some commercial time out. That's the only way you're going to slow them up. So, speed up the games, really take significant time off, and then the manager's not going to the mound. But that's baseball now. every batter, this guy, this lefty comes in against this guy, and all our analytics and all that stuff. So that's why the games are so slow.
The game was always slow when I went, and I never complained about it being slow. I know this is all being done for people watching on TV, but I never, ever sat at a game that was running slow or was 2 hours long in the fourth inning going, oh my God, when is this going to end? I know it's for TV, but I just get so sick of this. Oh, we got to speed, because just let the guys play. We don't need these. The guy going to second base in the 10th inning, I mean, that's happening in the minor leagues. I just find that to be incredibly hokey.
No, it's true. I mean, it's sometimes, you can almost go, okay, well, it's the second inning of a game. I could tune in an hour and a half. It'll be the sixth inning, and I'll pick it up from there because, the game's going to be long. You get those kind of fans, but I'm not a big fan of the instant replay. I think it's slow. It's just like with football. You see, it's been with football, 30 years, and it's the worst it's ever been. Every other play, they got to stop to look at a half a yard, and super slow HD. It's like a sport, so you're going to get good calls and you're going to get bad calls. They all even out. And just that baseball's doing that. And if a manager's got one left, he might as well use it, even though he's probably not going to win it. I don't know. To me, that annoys me.
I agree. I think you need instant replay. You want to get it right, but if it's going to take 4 minutes, there should be.
They're never going to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like that's what they said with the NFL. We got to get it right. And it's 30 years in, and it's the worst it's ever been.
Well, the NFL, I'm done with the NFL after they moved the Rams, but before that, I was kind of getting close to being done with it. You can't. An average fan doesn't know what a catch is. Not only just average fan. Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels, football guys.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Oh, man.
No, it's a joke that, a running back, all they have to do is the nose has to break the plane, and then he can fumble it, and it's a touchdown. But a receiver has got to, have every body part down 3 different times.
I say that every time I watch a game, like the Super Bowl that happened. I said, I don't even understand how this is not – the ball is over the plane. That's it. Touchdown. As a kid, this was always
exactly.
A touchdown.
Why is it different with a running back?
Right. So I'm going to wrap up with you. Thanks again. But 1987, how did you become a Giants fan, honestly? Did you grow up out there? I didn't look.
No, when I was a little kid, I was watching Game of the Week, and I saw Willie McCovey swing, and that was it. I was a lefty, and I was a first baseman at Little League.
So, yeah.
And it was between that or the Mets, and I wasn't going to like the Mets.
They were bad in the 70s. How was 1987 for you? That was my favorite year as a Cardinal fan. And I don't know if you remember the Cardinals and Giants playoffs with Jeffrey Leonard and Chili Davis.
It was amazing.
Cardinals.
Jeffrey Leonard with the flat down when he hit the home runs.
That is when you get a villain in baseball like that, and that was created literally in a 7-game series. I love that. That's what I love about baseball playoffs. It's kind of it's not as brutal as hockey playoffs because you can literally just 2 games in hate those guys. But baseball, that it takes a while for it to simmer. But man, Jeffrey Leonard was just hated here, and he loved it. I mean, after the game, I remember the best part about Game 6. The Cardinals win 1-0, so it takes it to a Game 7, and they always used to do the star of the game interview first. And so the Giants lost 1-0 in Game 6. The first interview was Marv Albert and Jeffrey Leonard because they knew this is way more important. That's how great it was.
Yep. Yeah, and then Leonard wasn't even that good of a ball player, but he just turned it on, and in the playoffs, all of a sudden he was a superstar. He was like, the Cody Ross of the Giants in later years that just had an amazing run in the playoffs. And Marco Scudero, who we got from you guys.
Yeah, well, no, we never had him.
I thought he was from the Cardinals.
No, but yeah, he kicked our ass that year. No, we never had him.
Okay.
Holiday took him out.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But, maybe we'll have a little bet. Maybe I'll keep in touch with you and we'll have a little bet. Maybe a little, let's see, Funny Bone. There's a White Castle over there, a steak and shake, so maybe we'll get you a shake or maybe a triple burger. Cardinals more wins than the Giants in 2018. What do you think?
No, look, I can't bet you on that because the Cardinals are definitely going to have more wins.
I'm not sure, but that's why I can make the bet a little bit, but I'm still not sure. I
think the Giants will go 500 this year if they're lucky. About right around 500 they're going to go.
I feel like the Cardinals are going to go 500 right now, but we'll see. They're really just banking on young pitching. They've just said we don't need a closer. I've never seen a Cardinal team leave spring training without a closer. They don't have the name of a closer. They have 3 young guys in the rotation with 2 more to come once people get hurt, and the lineup's not that great. I don't know, but so we'll see. I was going to make a bet, but that's fine. I don't like losing money, so that's good too.
Yeah, and I'm not confident in this team this year, so I don't want to bet either. I just whatever. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Well, this is awesome. I appreciate. No one has ever asked to stay on longer to talk baseball, so this is a first.
Yeah, I love baseball and pro football, and you got the team got yanked from you guys, and the NFL is going to come back in like 5 years. Go, hey, we want to give you another team.
No, we're not. We don't have.
No, we're good. We're good. You already screwed us over.
Our city, we can't even get a soccer team in it. We can't build a stadium. No one wants to build a stadium. This place, the politics of St. Louis goes back a long time. That's how we lost the team in 1987. It's how we got a team in 95, but signed a terrible lease. It just goes on and on. We had an MLS stadium like ready to go, and we couldn't get our shit together just to get a damn soccer team.
You know what? But you didn't need a new stadium there. You know what I mean? So you have 6 more skyboxes for people?
I don't know. The more I was at the Dome about a month ago, you have to upkeep it, but it's definitely not top tier. You could play football in there. I will say, and I get so pissed at people. Oh, it was a terrible atmosphere. People weren't saying that in 99 and 2000 and 2001 during the Greatest Show. It was loud. I remember Melissa Stark saying, I've never been anywhere louder. We're going to put down a noise meter. And they said, this is the loudest stadium in all of America. It broke a world record at that time. So I don't want to hear how shitty the stadium is. It is now. But
okay. So then what? Just like the Braves stadium, 20 years later, you need another new stadium because someone just built a new modern stadium, so everyone has to copy that. It's like when are you going to stop building stadiums for 10 games a year, 8 regular season and 2 preseason, and you have a few concerts in there? You know what I mean? It's like just deal. If you put a good product on the field, people would sit on cement.
Yeah. Well, the NFL's crooked. I mean, they literally just ripped 3 teams out of cities that enjoyed having football.
Yeah, they don't even care.
No, they don't.
And if it doesn't work, okay, we'll just get another relocation fee. We'll all split it between the other 131 owners, and, no big deal. And we'll move it to another city. Who cares? Yeah, well. And when Roger Goodell walks, it's all about the fans. Is it? Is it all about the fans?
Well, he's terrible. We could go.
When you got the commissioner basically in hiding, you know what I mean? Anywhere he goes, he gets booed. That's not good for your league.
He could not give out the damn trophy at the Super Bowl this year. They wouldn't let him.
No. Yeah. He doesn't go to New England games. He's not, and he just every time he comes out for the NFL draft, he gets booed. He has to hide.
I thought that XFL Vince McMahon could come up with something back in the day. Now he's got another one. But then yesterday I saw that they're going to Dick Ebersol's kids actually got funding. So there's going to be other alternatives. I would be very interested to see how that works. I don't think we'll get a team because we still don't have our shit together for that, but maybe we do. Either way, I like that people realize that now is the time to bite, that the NFL is a joke, and you can possibly...
No, I know. Now's the time to start a different league. Look, you're never going to topple the NFL, but if you just chip away at them, almost like how ESPN was dominant all those years, then Fox Sports came along, and they don't beat them, but they chip away at them, and they're taking people away. Since ESPN is basically like MSNBC now, so, you want to just hear sports.
College football is so big. Like Tim Tebow, if he was on the team and he was the quarterback of an XFL team, they'd sell out. People would love to see that. Or A.J. McCarron, he's a backup, but everyone remembers him with Georgia. It's like the SEC is almost like the minor leagues of the NFL, so why not let these guys continue and not be sitting on the bench? I don't know. I think it'll work. I think it's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, they'll do pretty decent business.
Well, if I want to talk sports again, I did not realize you wanted to go this deep into sports, but I'm going to keep your number, and maybe in 6 months we talk about the playoffs and just see how the playoffs went, how the season went, and see if I owe you a steak and shake. I won't bet, but
just notice that there's a guy in New Jersey, me, who is rooting for the Rams to fail in L.A. just as much as anybody in St. Louis.
Well, that's exciting to know.
When I see that stadium half full, on a Sunday, even if, the stadium they're playing in now, it makes me smile. And a new stadium is going to tank. The Chargers got no draw power. And, yeah, you're going to sell some, PSLs, but no one's going to care. I mean, you don't put a good team on the field, which, yeah, the Rams had a decent year last year, but you watch. No one cares in L.A. They're all bandwagoners. They're not going to, they'll go to games where if the Cowboys are playing out there, any Cowboy fans living in L.A. will go to those games, just like the Chargers playing in outside of L.A. now. If you're an opposing team, the Eagles, the Dolphins, they'll go, oh, cool, the Dolphins are coming West Coast, I'll go to the game. Those people buy up most of the tickets.
Yeah, that owner, he basically hoodwinked us, so hopefully bad things happen.
Oh, yeah, he's a shyster. That guy.
They all
he's
are.
A used car sales. He's a snake oil salesman.
They all are. There's only 2 or 3 good guys, I think, still running that league, but they're all Jerry Jones light, They're all just trying to make money grab after money grab. Yeah. That's why they're billionaires, I guess.
Every nickel they can put in their pocket, they don't give a crap about anything else. But, at least just don't lie to us. Try to say that that's not what you're about. That's exactly what you're about.
At least people see it, so I guess that's the good thing.
I know. Now they're getting exposed, which is good.
Well, Jim Florentine, I enjoyed this immensely. I appreciate your time. You're at the Funny Bone all weekend in St. Louis. Everybody go out and see him. I'm going to try to drop in as well. Big fan, and I appreciate your time here on Baseball and Beyond. And we're going to catch up again, I guess in October, and we're going to talk. We're going to do our little baseball playoff preview. How about that?
Yeah, definitely. I'm in.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jim.